Greetings, it is I, Tantus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time to continue my discussion on Hunter, the Reckoning in the World of Darkness. In our last episode, I just introduced you what it is to be a hunter, the world you're in. Let's talk about some of those details about what it means to awaken to be a hunter. So the fact is, once you awaken to be a hunter, once you realize the monsters is real, you are imbued with that knowledge, and that's what it is. The imbuing, gaining that knowledge. And whether you hunt yourself alone or in small groups, all hunters, to a degree, seek each other, others like them, and create hunter circles. Spread the word of what you've heard, what you've recognized and understood. The fact is that accounts vary from hunter to hunter, the exact nature of it. But there's always this grain that remains constant throughout them, that at some point in their lives, they heard a voice, a distortion of reality itself, of their senses changing, of something occurring. And after that was done, after this distortion, this words, this warning that reverberating deep in their soul, warning them of the danger, that is not alive. That hunts man. The words, the warning, everything for a second seems the same. And then they realize the monster around them. They realize what they've just been told, but shown what is going on around them that they have to be aware of, and are filled with both terror and such other emotions. Because you've just had that wool drawn back by the strange voice of nowhere, warning you, the imbuing, a moment of clarity where all is laid bare in front of you, and the monsters can no longer hide in secrecy. Now this results in so many questions. What is that voice? Why me? Why did it warn me? There's so many of whys, what, whos that go on throughout hunters, and the connections that they make with other hunters helps to try to alleviate these answers, but it also spreads sort of common linguistics and ideas of it. This being, this thing that tells you, that warns you, is referred to as the messenger. Now, many do, in a way, fear the messenger, just as much as they fear the monsters around them. But there is a simple reason that the messenger is not looked down upon like the monsters. The messenger, whatever being it may be, has let you know about the monsters. It has warned you about the dangers to humanity. So, in a way, it must be looking out for humanity. What this actual power is and why it has done this, no hunter truly knows. No one knows where this voice really comes from. But it has told you the truth. And now you begin to understand it. Once you have seen the monsters, once the world is laid bare though, something changes within the hunters. They are granted strange abilities that they may now use in their fight against the monsters in the darkness. This might mean direct ways of leading attacks against the monsters to slay them. It might mean ways to draw them out from their own secret places, to reveal what they have hidden and counteract their own powers. It, of course, might mean senses beyond what you would normally have to be able to find the monsters that are hidden around you and trying to avoid your detection. Some of them are even healing, that allow the grievous of wounds you've been dealt in the battle against the monsters to be healed to continue the fight itself. These powers, whatever form they take, the multitude of them, because there is many of them, are referred to as edges. Hunters wield edges to fight the monsters itself. But fighting is not the instant that each hunter takes. Once you have awakened to the world, you begin to realize what these monsters do to you, the threat they have to your friends, your family, your community, to humanity itself. And then, almost every hunter is inspired to the hunt. The hunt, which is the action of crushing the plans of the monsters, to slay them, to stop what they are planning, to protect humanity. The hunt is stopping the monsters from what they are attempting to do, what they are, and keeping people safe. It is an action that most hunters take on in order to feel that need to stop the monsters. The hunt takes many forms from hunter to hunter. Their reasons for the hunt, the way that they go about the hunt. But the thing is, all hunters could work together because the goal, the results you wish for are always the same. To stop the monsters. How you go about it? Well, the problems that could cause between hunters is between them. The results are what matters. That the hunter successfully destroys the monster, stops what it's doing, and perhaps survives. But your life might not mean anything to your families. So, that's always not a critical thing on that end. Now, monsters are everywhere. But the fact is that you know nothing about them. You know it's a monster. You might know it by its common name. What it would be called in the normal vernacular. Mummy, vampire, ghost, werewolf. But what do you truly know about it? Information is a key aspect of this entire thing that hunters strive for. Many of their networks attempt to share information, but even then it's still thin. Many turn to old myths, legends, stories, crazy articles online or in a newspaper somewhere. They gather together this information and investigate that which they are hunting to learn more about it, to understand more about it. Because separating fact from fiction will be a critical job of the hunters. You must know what you're battling against. Learn its true weaknesses. Learn ways that it can be killed. Learn what doesn't work on it. Does silver hurt a werewolf? Will sunlight burn away a vampire? These are things that they question whether this is truth within our own information. And if it is so, can they use it against these creatures to defeat them? So, information gathering will be a critical part of the hunter's life. Now let's talk about the hunter's life. As the hunter, you are awakened to the world around you. But those that are mundane, those that are unaware, they will never quite understand you. They don't understand why you're spending your money on various things, why you're going on long trips. Hunters usually have their normal lives. Their mundane lives break down. The mundane life is just that, it's mundane. It doesn't feel correct anymore with the threats and what is going on around them. So of course, they just let it fall apart often. Very few of them maintain that real world aspect of everything. And those around you would not believe what you say anyway. They most often see that what you're doing is perhaps requires you to be interred somewhere, or perhaps ask the police to deal with you of some type, because they can't grasp the situation. That's another important part of it. The monsters want to hide. They have built this web of secrecy, this web that keeps them hidden. So those that are around you deny their existence completely. You could try to preach to them, but they would not listen to you. They need to see it face to face, right in front of them, for them to even begin to grasp it. And that is a danger that would you be willing to throw these people into just for some recognition when their lives will most likely be lost in the end? No, it's not something you'd push. And hunters learn that there are other dangers here, not only with those people that learning what you've been told and thinking of you crazy, but the monsters themselves. They have senses, eyes, ears, everywhere. They maintain their secrecy through knowledge. They make sure that anyone that might know about them, that might tell of their secret, well, it's a danger to them. So if I begin to preach to people about what I know as a hunter, well, I might not live that long, because the creatures of the darkness, those monsters that I see, they won't like what I'm doing, and they'll try to stop me. So, hunters find themselves driven alone. The people around them that they once knew, that they were once close to, will not believe a word they say if they tell them the truth. A truth that they learn very quickly to keep to themselves no matter what because of the reasons I stated. And in the end, they can only turn to each other. This is another of the critical reasons why hunter circles exist. While hunters often, not always, group together when they go on hunts. But the circles, the connections, using the internet, using even mail, everything that they can do to band together in a way is a support network for them. It's people that know the truth and are willing to talk about the truth with each other. You will believe the other hunters when they say something. They will tell you the truth of the matters that they have encountered. And these sharing, these connections, keeps them all strong. Something that without the hunters themselves may break down. For the madness that they have seen is one thing, but being driven by everyone around them into believing what you've seen is madness too, is another thing entirely. So those secret networks deep within the internet are the most important thing for you as a hunter to have access to connect to. But that's it for today. So I talked about a number of important factors about you as a hunter. Your imbuing, when you awaken to your knowledge of the world. The hunt, you hunting down the creatures of the darkness. Your edges, your powers that you have. The messenger, who gave you the message. And information. These aspects are critical to your time as a hunter. Understand them. And realize that this is building you to be a good hunter, to understanding the world around you, and slaying the monsters. In the next episode, we're going to talk about the Hunter's Code, the Lexicon, which I will go over a few extra terms that are different than any other World of Darkness game, and then, of course, we're going to dive into the World of Darkness. We're going to put our hunters, now that we've built them, in this way that we've talked about them, into this world. A world of monsters and creatures that don't take kindly to those that might slay them. So, I hope you're having a great day. If you have any great tabletop stories, especially role-playing games, and especially World of Darkness and Hunter the Reckoning stories, please share them in the comments below. I love hearing stories about all the different kinds of games people played. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.